Hi and welcome back to my channel. Today I thought we'd do something a little bit fun and do some colouring in. I've got this cool picture of a dragon and it's coloured by numbers. You can find pictures like this on supercolouring.com. So before we get started, let's warm up our hands. Okay, are we ready to start? I'm using Photoshop, but I guess you could use any photo editing software. Okay, so you can see the picture here. We've got the numbers that represent the colours that we're going to be adding into each respective panel or shape. So the first thing I want to do is create our layers. So there's 10 colours here that we'll be using, and so that I can edit the colours separately from each other, I'll be putting each colour onto a separate layer within Photoshop. So let's start by adding 10 layers. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I'll give each one their respective colour name. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so let's get started. So what you'll notice, the first thing we need to do is select the bucket tool, and this allows us to fill each shape when we click within. So to set our first colour, I'm going to hover over the colour palette down the bottom, and I'm on a Mac, so I'll hold down the Option key. If you're on a PC, I believe it'll be Alt for you. And now you can see in my colour palette, I've got this grey selected. So now what we need to do is go and find all the number ones, and we'll just click into the shape and we'll fill all number ones. Doesn't matter if we miss any, we can come back later. The top here. This is the dragon's horns. Okay, can we see any more number ones? There we go, there's a couple more. I think that might be nearly all of them. Okay, now of course, we don't want these, oh, there's another one. We don't want the numbers to appear in there either. So what we're going to do is now we're going to grab the paintbrush tool, and because the same color is selected, I'm just going to reduce the brush down. I'll just make it a soft brush so that we feather the edge, and I'm just going to paint over each number, and this just makes it look a lot nicer. And again, when we get through to the end where I add some styling to each one of these, you'll see where this makes a big difference. Okay, I've got a couple more here. This one's quite tight. For some of the smaller ones, like this one down the bottom, we may need to reduce the brush down even more. And just paint over the top of that. Oops. Control or Command Z if you want to undo And then we've got all these ones up the top here. So I'll just quickly draw over the top of those. Okay, and we are nearly done. So let's move on to number 2. So again, we select the bucket tool and we scroll down to the color palette, and I'm going to hold Option or Alt and just click into the color well just to select the color. Okay, so this is going on to layer number 2, and now we can go ahead and add this orange to number 2. Looks like there's quite a lot of orange in here. His eyes. Okay, can we see any more? Let's have a quick scout around. Okay, I think I've got all of the number 2. So once again, I'll select the paintbrush tool, and because the orange is already selected, I'll just go and fill in anywhere we see a number. There's quite a few different photo editing apps. I know there's a couple of free ones available online, but you could use something like Affinity Photo or Corel Draw. Even Illustrator would do this, but Illustrator is not a free app, of course. I find this probably the easiest in Photoshop, but use whatever you're comfortable with. It looks like the dragon's eyes, so maybe we'll come back later and we'll add some more detail to the eyes. We'll see what we do. Okay, nearly done. All right, we're ready to move on to number 3. Okay, so I'm going to grab the bucket tool. Now we've selected our color. Let's now select our layer number 3, and we'll work through selecting all the number 3s. Again, it doesn't really matter if we miss any. We can come back and do any that we've missed later on. But I think for now, oh, there's one more in the middle there. Let's see, over here, no more. Over on the left-hand side, no, I think we're good. Okay, so again, let's just grab the pen tool and we'll just quickly color in those numbers. Okay, have we got everything? I think we have. Okay, so let's move on to color number 4. Grab the bucket tool, let's select this orange, and make sure we select the layer, and we'll work through all these number 4s. These look like they're just giving the number 2 colors a bit of contrast. quite a lot of number 4s. More around the edge here. Over here on the right hand side. Up the top. Okay, can we see any more? Oh, we've got some in here. That's a lot of number 4s. Here we go, there's another one. And one more little one here. Okay, I think that might be it. Okay, so let's grab the pen tool, or the brush tool I should call it. It's not really a pen, it's more of a brush. And we're just painting in the numbers. I think this is going to look really good when it's finished. I guess it's kind of a little bit therapeutic going through and just filling in all the colours. Looking forward to what it will look like when I've finished. You know, I haven't actually done this picture before, so we'll get to see together when I get to the end. Oops. A little bit over the lines there. Okay, let's go here. I think there's more 4s than any other colour we've had so far. Looks like there's quite a lot of number 5s as well. So I think our next colour, we've certainly got our work cut out for us. But we're nearly there. Well, this one didn't really colour in very well, so I'm just going to select the bucket tool again and just select a bit more just around there. You can probably hear the hum of my computer. Sounds like it's working hard at the moment because I'm recording the audio as well as Photoshop. So it's probably just struggling a little bit, but it seems to be working seamlessly enough. Okay, so let's now select the colour for number 5. Not quite sure what colour you would call that. To me, it kind of looks like a cream or a beige. There's a lot of 5s here. It's almost maybe a skin colour. I don't know. But there's certainly a lot. Okay. Well, maybe not a lot, but they're quite large areas. Okay, I think we've got them all. Let's select our paintbrush tool again. I might just make the brush a little bit bigger. I might just make the edge of the brush a little bit harder, just so that when I get to the borderline areas, it doesn't feather into the border. See how I can get right close to there and it's not going over the lines. When I had the soft brush before, it was sometimes going over, whereas now I've got the brush size slightly bigger than the number, so I can literally just click straight on the number. So that might make it easier for you if you've got a similar software. Okay, let's now move on to number 6. Make sure we select our layer and start filling. It's almost like a lilac, this colour. It's quite a nice colour. I think I've got all the 6s. There's not really that many 6s there. Again, let's grab the paintbrush. And again, I've got that hard brush tool, which allows me to literally just click once over the numbers and it fills them in quite nicely. Okay, we're in the home stretch. Let's now select the bucket tool. Select number 7. Okay, and we'll select the colour for 7. And here we go. 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. There's not very many 7s. Let's see, have I got everything? I think so. Select brush tool. 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. Okay, moving on to 8. Make sure we select our layer. I think there's quite a few 8s. 8, 8, 8, 8. Any over here? 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8. A small one here. 8. One down here. 8. 8, 8, 8, 8. I think that's it. Paintbrush. I think it's kind of cool seeing the picture come to life when you start adding the colours. And of course you could probably change the colour palette to whatever you want, really. It doesn't have to be these colours. I mean, there's a lot of different purples and pinks within this. So theoretically you could make the dragon greens and blues if you wanted to. No rules. Do whatever makes you happy. Okay, I think we've got all the number 9s. Let's select our brush. 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9. 9. That's right near the edge. And a couple more. Okay, and that leaves us with lucky last number 10. Again, let's select our colour. Make sure we select our layer. This is very similar to the previous colour, so I guess it's the intention is that it just adds some contrast. And finally, let's just get our pen. I just make the brush a little bit bigger, then I can just hover the pen directly over the center, click once, and it fills that color. This one's a bit too small, so we'll come back to that one and I'll reduce the brush size. It's a lot of number 10s. Over this side, it's a few. Okay, let's just reduce the brush size. I'm just right clicking. I've got it set so that I can right click and change the brush size. But I know that there's shortcuts depending on the software that you're using that allows you to do it, whether it's the bracket keys maybe. And we've got this little one down the bottom here. Let's make sure we get that one. And there we have it. Now that looks pretty cool. Now, see, we've got a little bit of a blemish here, so I might just go back to that one. I believe it's number 6. And let's just select our 6 color, and I'll just, oh, no, it wasn't 6. I think it might have been number 8. That was 8. Okay. Okay, so now we've got all of our colors filled, but we can take it one step further and we can make it look a little bit more interesting. So let's take number 5, for example. So this is mainly the wings. So if you double click on your layer, it brings up this layer styles palette. And from here we can add some different styling. And there's a lot of preset styles, and you can download presets. You can change the way that the bevel is, for instance. So that's probably not what I want to do. However, I might have a look at, I've got some really cool presets here. Let's have a look at the holographic styles. I think the wings could look cool in one of these kind of styles. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like the way that it's got the gradient going from the pinks and purples through. Almost looks magical. 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 So we can go through and we can add styles. So if we go maybe to number 10, and let's give these styles some, what have we got here? Oh, that's pretty cool. That almost looks like stained glass windows. What's this one? That's a bit more basic. Let's go with this one. I think that's very cool. Although that could look pretty cool as scales as well. Maybe we'll come back to that one and we'll see what we can do. Now, of course, we can right-click on a style, so we can copy the layer style and then go to another layer and we can paste that same layer style on. So you can see that it's taken on slightly different tonality because of the background layer, but that looks pretty cool. I might do the same thing for layer 6. So again, I'm going to right click, paste layer style. Just undo that for a moment. Just trying to see, maybe it's Yeah, I think 8. We'll do it on 8. Paste the layer style. Okay, that's looking pretty cool. Now, was 6, yeah, 6 was those inner rings. So yeah, we'll do 6 as well. And that will then complete our, it's almost like a mosaic. Now let's do something cool with the oranges here. So if we go to number 2 here, double click into the layer. Let's see what really cool styles we've got. I've got some, let's see, cartoon Halloween styles. What are they? Oh, that looks like fire. What have we got? Try a few. Oh, that looks like brains. Okay. Oh, that's red hot. Green slime. It's probably not. But you know what? The eyes look really cool there. So I'll tell you what we'll do. We will, I think, separate the eyes. So let's cancel this for a moment. Now we've got the eyes here. So we know we're on layer 2. So I'm just going to duplicate layer 2 by hitting Command J or Control J if you're on a PC. And now I've got layer 2 here. So I'm just going to turn off layer, the first layer, and now I'm going to get the eraser tool and I'm going to erase all the layers other than the eyes. Okay, so let's get the eraser. Just going to make it big and you'll see what I'm doing here in a moment. So I've erased all the colors from number 2 so that now we'll call this one eyes. And then when we turn on our normal layer 2 again, we've separated those. So if we now go back to our layer styles, and it was in cartoon Halloween styles, and there we have it. That looks pretty cool. Okay, and we can play around with the shadows here. I think we don't need the drop shadow because the eyes wouldn't typically have a drop shadow. Let's see, we've got satin. That doesn't really seem to make much difference. I'll leave that on. You can change the way that the bevels work if you like. You can see that it's creating almost like the glint in the eye at the top. We'll leave that there. I think that looks pretty cool. Okay, so now we can move back to color number 2. What do you think? I don't think fur is going to be, I think dragons are furry. What have we got here? Leopard spots, tiger stripes, zebra stripes, zebra stripes. Oh, it's like a polar bear or something. Okay, I don't think fur is really what we're after here. Let's have a look at fire styles. This could be cool. Probably not quite what I was thinking. That's kind of like fire. I think this almost needs a background layer. So I'll show you what we can do here. Let's duplicate number 2. Again, we'll Command J or copy with Control J on a PC. And we'll call this fire. So again, we'll go back into the layer styles and we'll find those fire styles. Here we go. Now, I think it's too big. Let's go medium fire styles. Probably, nope. Okay, now that could look cool, but the reason I've duplicated this layer is because I think it needs something underneath to kind of set it off to complement. So if we did something like this, kind of gives it almost like a red hot kind of look. Just reduce the chisel and the size. Let's maybe make the contour something a little different. I mean, there's so many options here that you could do. It's just a matter of just playing around with the different settings and see what looks good to you. Now that's not too bad. That's pretty cool. I think that looks pretty cool. It's like it's red hot fire. I mean, you would normally associate fire with a dragon, wouldn't you? Okay, and then we've got, I think, what have we got here? Now again, we've got these 4 in the corners here. So we've got down the left. Again, I might duplicate that layer. In fact, let's do it twice, because what I want to do is do 4, and then we'll call this one fire as well. So I'm going to right click and copy the layer style and paste it by right clicking and paste layer style. And now of course we've got this one over the top here, which, so what I'll do is turn that one off for the moment. And now let's go back to number 4, and I'm just going to copy the layer style we had on number 2 and pop that on number 4. Okay, well, that's looking pretty cool. Now here's the thing, I want to erase these corners because I don't want them to have the same style. So I've still got the eraser tool selected, and I'm just going to erase number 4. And of course I have to do the same for the fire effect that is in there as well. And that just leaves us with the white number 4s. Now we have it. Now if we turn on the copy we made here, now we can give this a completely different style. So let's see what we've got. Let's see if we've got anything cool. Well, that looks okay. It's kind of got some 3D. Now, of course, this is now affecting the dragon inside. So of course we have to be, we'll just click that for the moment, and we're going to now just take it off by erasing all this. And then we're just left with the effect in the corners. Okay, so let's call this one corners. And let's maybe look at some different styles that we could use here. What's engraved? Let's see what engraved. Oh, that could be cool. Got some gold. It kind of doesn't really look like gold. I wonder if it's because of the way that I've coloured that in. Was that number 4? I think it was number 4. So let's cancel that for a moment, and let's just go back to our pen tool. if I go back to that engraved style, so you can see that if I click OK, and then I use the pen tool, I can actually clean those sections up just by painting in. For some reason, because of the way that the pen tool took the numbers out earlier, it didn't quite take everything out. As you can sort of see the 4 down on the right hand side here, it's still apparent, so it's not giving me a very clean result. So I'm just cleaning up one more. And almost like magic, there it is. So, not quite happy with that yet. Let's just go back into our styles and see what else we've got. We've got some chrome. We've got these ice styles. Maybe it would look cool with a bit of ice. No, that's kind of cool. That's almost like those clear glass panels you get that look like big blocks of ice. That's kind of cool. I like that. Now, that's pretty cool. I might also do the same with this number 1 and maybe number 7. Let's right click and we'll copy the layer style. Let's go to number 7 and then paste layer style. Oh, that's pretty cool. I like that. I like how this one's got this kind of blue tinge through it. Very cool. And lastly, we have, now we've got the dragon horns and the fins on the back here of the dragon, which I probably want to separate, and that's in number 1. So let's duplicate number 1. Again, Command J or Control J if you're on a PC. And let's title this one Fins and Horns. And we'll grab the eraser tool and I'm going to erase. Actually, let's turn off 1 so we can see what we're doing. Okay. Erase all these. So again, I think they'll look cool if they're like ice blocks. One more over here. And then if we turn that one off and turn back on number 1, select number 1, and then we'll just erase the horns and erase the fins. Okay, I think that's good. Now, I'm going to start with number 1 and we will grab the ice block tool. Let's have a look at some, oops, let's go back to number 1 and I think go back to those ice styles. Can't remember which one we used, but let's have a look, see what looks cool. Now that's not too bad. I think that was the one we used. I think that looks pretty cool. What's this one? Now that looks very good. I like that. That's great. Okay, so that's there. And lastly, we have the fins and the horns. You know what? I think it would be cool if we gave the fins and the horns a bit of something that kind of really popped, a color that really stood out. Let's have a look at our cartoon styles here. We've got, that's not too bad, green. It's kind of okay, I just don't like the red outline. Got all these bits that we haven't erased out here. Let's just commit to that for a moment because it looks like we need to clean up some of these extraneous effects. You can see with all these different color styles added, layer styles I should say, my computer is starting to struggle a little bit. You can see the delay. Okay, so let's go back into our fins and horns. If we took out the outer glow, and now that looks pretty cool. I think that's cool. I like that. And you know what we haven't done? We haven't done these brown parts in the center. Were they what number? They're number 3. So let's go up to number 3. And we'll double click in there. And I think that they need to be something like maybe scale, or let's see what we've got here. All these basics, there's not really much there. Natural. It's kind of like wood. That's kind of cool. That looks too much like wood. That's moss. Now that's not too bad, but I think we need to reduce the depth of the bevel. Okay, so we'll just soften that, and we might make it smooth. That's better. Let's see what happens if we raise the size, make it look a little bit more, maybe a bit more 3D. That looks kind of cool. Don't think we need the drop shadow on there. Okay, that looks, I think I'm pretty happy with that. Okay. So there you have it. And like I said, you could change the colors to whatever you like. And of course, you could save this and print it out, or use it as your wallpaper on your computer. So let me know in the comments if you think that we should do some more of these. It's been a lot of fun, and I hope you've enjoyed it. If you've enjoyed it too, please consider liking and subscribing, and of course make sure you hit the notification bell so that you get notified when I upload new videos. So before we go, let's just crop. So I'm just going to draw a marquee around the outside of this. Go up to Image and Crop. And there you have it. There's our finished picture. Once again, thanks for viewing, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.